Good morning, everybody. Early morning crypto talk, Bitcoin. Brandon here from Los Angeles, California. That's right, I had the day off yesterday. I didn't do any crypto talks, any presentations, but I was still working behind the scenes. The quiet before the storm. We have a lot taking place, and we start next week. What's going on? If you're online, go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. What's going on, Denisha? Mafus, Nicholas, Lashana, Darnell Abram from the OKC. Also, don't be afraid to hit the like button or the share button so more people know that something's going on over here. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be dispensing financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, do not spend money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 30 days, 60 days, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? There are so many things going on in the crypto space that you cannot get distracted. So make a decision, move forward, stay focused. Now, this is not going to guarantee you success, but this will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. All right, so let's get into some articles this morning. Well, first I forget I have to hit the share button. Share screen. So that you can see what I'm looking at here. We're going to start off with, we're going to talk about Bitmain's IPO. But first, let's see what the market is doing. What's going on in the market? So this morning we have total market caps at 221 billion. Bitcoin 6670, 2.3% change over the last 24 hours. Ethereum is up 3%. Ripple is up 1%. Bitcoin Cash is down almost 3%. EOS almost up 4%. Tether is in the green, so the market is flat and on the downtrend. People are moving their coins out. So since the market was going up, I would not say this is a good time to buy. The market's about to dip for a little bit. You could sell a little bit if you want to make a profit, or move your coins into Tether for safekeeping. But the market's flatlined right now while it was on its way up. So you want to wait and see how far this goes down before you decide to start buying again. Let me see if there's any surprises happening in the top 100. We got Ontologies up 10%. Electroneum has been on a run. It is back to 2.2 cents. Before that, a week ago, it was at half a penny. Let's see. Golem is up 12%. Eternal Token, 43%. Pump and dump? Who knows? Populous is up 10%. Gas is up 37% and then dropped. That's a pump and dump right there. You just look at the chart. That's a pump and dump. All of a sudden skyrocket and then drop. All right, so let's take a look at Bitmain is about to do an IPO. And this is huge news. And I need to post this article on the link so you guys can follow it if you choose. Bitmain's IPO, insights from the cryptocurrency market bear. When Bitmain mining, an ASIC miner producing juggernaut, Bitmain released its IPO prospectus to the Stock Exchange of Hong Kong in September 2018. The world got to take a peek at some wild growth rates in the cryptocurrency industry, not purely linked to astronomical gains from market speculation. The most impressive component is the leap from Bitmain's 2016 revenue, $278 million, and profit, $111 million, to $2.5 billion and $700 million in 2017, a near 10 times in revenue and 7 times in profit. For those that have been keeping a close watch on the cryptocurrency world in 2016 and 17, this shouldn't be a shocker. Most crypto assets saw similar jumps in value during the same period. While many speculators were sprinting to the gold rush, Bitmain was there selling the pickaxes. You guys understand that analogy? During the old gold rush, who made all the money? Was it those people that actually found gold? Or was it those that were selling tools to find the gold? That's exactly what people say, Brandon, why do you mine? It's not that I'm mining. I'm more excited about owning the equipment that allows me to mine than the actual mining of itself. Would you rather buy the golden egg or the golden goose that produces the golden eggs every single day? That's what we're doing with GreenX. So one of Bitmain's main revenue generators is the production of cryptocurrency mining chips and its fleet of Antminer hardware that allows customers to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies at semi-competitive rates. With over 80,000 customers and just under half in China and the rest overseas, Bitmain became the world's leading mining hardware manufacturer. However, at a time where Bitmain should be getting dolled up for the IPO pageant, it still seems to carry some of the sores that have recently plagued the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. Its revenue growth rates and profit margins are decreasing, or at least headed to a serious lull. Gross margins in the first 6 months of 2018 were 36%, down from 48% in 2017 and 54% in 2016. The adjusted return on assets and return on equity also halved in 2018 from 2017. Bitmain is also combining both of the first 2018 quarters into a first half H1 to distract from the evidence of further decline. Like the many merchants who accepted cryptocurrency for their services in late 2017 and early 2018, Bitmain is also stuck holding assets that have depreciated significantly. With 27% of purchases in 2017 paid for with cryptocurrency, that's a huge accounting headache for 2018 in terms of figuring out true revenue and tax liabilities. In 2017, everyone seemed willing to drop shoulders Black Friday Walmart style for an Antminer S9. With cryptocurrency prices decreasing and profit margins shrinking from mining, so did the demand. This leaves Bitmain with a whole lot of unsold product in a quarter that didn't go as planned. Live by the hold. I just can't say hodl. Live by the hold, die by the hold. Bitmain also owns huge amounts of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ether, Litecoin, and Dash. It accounted for these cryptocurrencies at cost, priced at the time of acquisition, and not at the current market value. Depending on when these cryptocurrencies were acquired, Bitmain's holdings could be a shred of what they used to be. Bitmain also owns Antpool, one of the world's largest Bitcoin mining pools, with an estimated 17.83% chunk of the total hash rate. However, as with any company absolutely crushing it in relatively untapped new market, competitors start to rush in like sharks at the sniff of blood. Companies like Canaan Inc., eBay International Holdings, and even Samsung are likely to encroach on Bitmain's mining and mining equipment sale dominance. All right, now, common sense would tell you, Bitmain, you might want to hold off on your IPO until the market turns around. However, if you're a long-term thinker, if I was Bitmain, I would do the IPO right now. Whoa, why would you say that now? Understand, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. Here's why. The market may be down, but you still own the same amount of assets as you did when the market was up. If you do the IPO now, it's not like you're hurting for money. See, this is where they say, well, if I wait till the market goes up, then I'm going to make a boatload of money because the market's up and everybody's hyped about it. Yeah, you're going to make a whole bunch of money on the short end. But you'd rather go when the market is depreciated and hold the assets, because we all believe with a guarantee that the market is going to skyrocket in the future. What is that going to do to your shareholders and your bottom line when the value of your company exponentially grows? And the people who own your stock were the true believers, not the bandwagoners trying to get a quick buck. I would go public right now while the stock is cheap, because you know what it's going to do in the future. But that's just me. I'm just saying, don't have to listen to me. I definitely will buy stock in this, though. First to the market wins. All right, let's get the next article up. I'll save that one for last. Cryptocurrency coalition to pay DC lobbyists in digital coins. Oh, here we go. When you start seeing crypto lobbyists enter the space, you're going to start to see positive things out of DC when it comes to crypto. Why? Money talks. If you've got an influence over there, you've got some money to flash around, money talks. A group of financial technology companies is banding together to lobby lawmakers and regulators on cryptocurrencies, and they plan to pay their Washington advocates partly in digital coins. The firms, all based in the San Francisco area, include digital money transfer company Ripple. Here we go. See, whenever I hear banks, government, why is it that Ripple's not too far behind? Now, someone asked me, Brandon, why are you skeptical of Ripple? One, because I don't call it a cryptocurrency. It's a digital currency. And the banks and the governments love it. Therefore, by default, I'm skeptical of it. That's why. Anyways, I own Ripple, though, by the way. I'm not stupid. I know you can make some money with it. So, they're announcing Thursday that they've started a coalition and are retaining the Klein Johnson Group, a bipartisan lobby shop that specializes in technology and financial services issues. The company's lobbying push comes as Congress and agencies like the Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, are trying to figure out what kind of federal rules should apply to digital tokens and the blockchain technology that underlies them. Among officials, concerns are massive price swings in the crypto markets, a spate of fraudulent public offerings involving the coins and their use in criminal activities like drug dealing. Why are they still singing that song and dance? It has already been proven that there is no massive criminal activity and drug dealing in crypto. But they always want to go back to that line. For their part, the fintech firms are looking for government oversight that encourages innovation and won't impede competition in the rapidly changing global markets. They plan to weigh in with Congress as well as the SEC, the IRS, and other agencies that touch on cryptocurrencies, said Izzy Klein, a former aide to Senate Minority Leader Charles Schumer and co-founder of Klein Johnson. The new group calls itself, okay, pay attention to this because you're going to hear this a lot, the Securing America's Internet of Value Coalition, SAIVC, a nod to an emerging notion in the financial sector or technology world, where the systems that record digital transactions will all be connected. That would enable payments across the globe to be processed almost instantaneously with no middlemen, a concept that could be revolutionary, but perhaps difficult to explain to policymakers. I mean, why is that difficult to explain? Hello, instantaneous transactions with minimal fees and no middleman. Why? Because we're talking about a bunch of people 55 and over that don't understand the internet yet. They're starting to understand tweeting. You expect them to really adopt this? I'm not even a baby boomer. I'm a Generation X. But I'm that generation that transferred from the old way of how things used to be to the new technology. So I can say I remember a time before I even had cable TV at home, before we had a home computer at home. I remember those days. I remember at not my house, but my grandma's house, having the antennas on the television set. And my grandpa was saying, boy, go stand over there and move that antenna, put foil on it. I remember those days. I remember days when TV, at a certain time at night, it would go blank and would have that blue screen, and then it will say, we'll be back shortly, because there was no TV between like midnight and 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. I remember those days. I remember waking up super early on a Saturday morning so I could watch my Kung Fu flicks and waiting for the TV to come back on. But then the 90s rolled around and they introduced you to the internet and email. I remember writing letters. Long distance was too expensive. Wow, I'm going through dating my age, but I'm only 42. It's not like it was that long ago. But these millennials, the millennials are living in an age of all they know is the internet. And then the generation after them, my 11-year-old son, this is all he knows. He doesn't know another way of life. He doesn't know what it's like, outside playing until the streetlights come on. There was no texting. There was no cell phones. None of that stuff. All right, I'm not going to go ahead and reminisce, but I'm just saying, these old guys in D.C., they don't even understand what's going on. But they're going to make policy for us. He said, we understand this is really complicated and there is a lot of misinformation out there, said Chris Larson. That's true. That's why we have cryptogenics. If you ever try to, I can just go to YouTube and Google it and learn about crypto. No, there is a lot of misinformation out there. You don't know what questions to ask. That's why colleges are even offering crypto courses now and blockchain courses. In fact, I am attending this one right here. Is not a blockchain course, but this event here in LA, Crypto Invest Summit. That's taking place October 22nd. I think it is. October 22nd to the 24th, right here in my backyard, LA Convention Center. So if you ever come to the LA car show, it's right across the street from Staples Center where the Lakers play. So I'll be here. Why? Look at this. The new era of responsible digital investing. How blockchain and tokens are changing investing forever. So I'm going to go so I can learn. I want to learn some new stuff. Tim Draper's going to be there. Yeah, I definitely want to hear from Tim Draper. Hint, hint. That's all I'm going to say. By the way, those of you in our network, if you're planning to attend, let me know because we can buy these tickets at a discount, 3 or more for $2.99 per person instead of $4.99. So yeah, we want to take advantage of that. It's $200 off. Okay, and go to your hotel room or your flight. Let me get back to the article. One particularly pressing matter for Ripple is whether XRP digital tokens, which are closely linked to the company, are deemed securities and subject to SEC regulation. The agency has already said that two competing currencies, Bitcoin and Ether, are not, along with Ripple. Wait. I read that too fast. I didn't click in my head. Let me read that paragraph again. One particularly pressing matter for Ripple is whether XRP digital tokens, which are closely linked to the company, are deemed securities and subject to SEC regulation. Yes, they are. Now, Bitcoin and Ether, SEC flat out said they are not securities. But they didn't say Ripple's not. Along with Ripple and the independent foundation Ripple Works, the coalition also includes Coil, a company that will facilitate digital payments for entertainment and content, Hard Yaka, an investment firm focusing on digital assets, and PolySign, a startup that is looking to be a crypto custodian. The coalition plans to pay Klein Johnson about $25,000 a month, really, and 10,000 Ripple. Klein said his firm will convert the Ripple price into dollars when it discloses the payments on federal lobbying forms. Well, I mean, that's not that 10,000 Ripple. You just do the math. One Ripple is 53 cents. That's That's $5,000. Right? I mean, not something to jump up for joy for. If they had said something like, yeah, we're going to give them 10 million Ripple. Oh, okay, now we're talking. Or 100,000 Ripple, maybe. Larson said it makes him feel better to have lobbyists with some skin in the game. I agree with that. The problem I have with politicians and bankers is that they're making judgments on crypto and Bitcoin, and they have absolutely no skin in the game. They don't even understand how it works. They've never bought any coins. They don't understand how it moves. So it gives them some upside. It gives them some risk, he said. Hopefully it gives them a taste of the industry in a way that hits home. I agree. All right, last article up. And I will get this copy. Cryptocurrency and the undermining of governments focus. So this is an event happening October 9th. Where is it happening? David Noble will discuss how global economies will be impacted by digitalization at World Affairs Council event. This is what I'm really interested in. You know, the crypto space is so vast that when I do my crypto talks, there's a number of topics I can cover. I can get into the nerd side and just cover stuff that has to deal with nodes, master nodes, programming, forks, the Lightning Network, the miners, the debate, all that stuff. That's all crypto stuff. But that doesn't interest me. I can even get into just focusing on ICOs and new coins and new tokens and stuff. There's people out there that cover that kind of stuff. Every now and then I do, but that is not what interests me. What interests me is how I major. I'm a political science major. I love the socio-economic aspect of it, the politics of it, the mass adoption of it. That type of news captures my attention because I believe that cryptocurrency represents the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. My problem is that most people don't even know what's going on. So my passion is bringing crypto awareness. So any articles and things that kind of talk on that is what I cover. So if anybody ever wanted to know, what I cover. Hey, Clevie, that's a good thing. Publishing a newspaper or a news article that people can purchase, maybe. I'll look into that in 2019. Right now, my voice is in KGX, our education platform. So anybody that wants to have access to my knowledge, you pony up $300, get crypto education, and you get access to all of our trainings and me. I get paid that way. I get paid a lot of money that way. But I am looking at 2019. I'm looking at writing some books, probably turning my crypto talks into a podcast or something, and maybe even getting a newsletter. But I'm going to need to hire a team that can set all that up for me. I don't know how to do all that stuff. I provide the content. Somebody else can tell me where to put it, and let's get paid. So I'll look into that in 2019. Anyways, cryptocurrency and undermining the governance focus of October 9th events. Governments have traditionally controlled public behavior through monetary regulation, but cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin is challenging these economic levers as well as the centralized power of government, argues David Noble, director of the Peter J. Worth Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation Management at the University of Connecticut. Noble will discuss cryptocurrency, digitization, can't say that right, and regulation as it relates to the nation state as a predominant form of governance on Tuesday, October 9th At the World Affairs Council of New Hampshire's 2018 Global Business Summit, taking place from 5 to 7:30 p.m. So that's happening in Manchester. If I was there, I would go. If I were anywhere near there, I would go to this. While governments around the world struggle to regulate tech companies such as Google, Facebook, and Uber, the inability to regulate cryptocurrencies presents even larger implications, as now you're talking about the monetary supply, says Noble. When you look at the economies of Venezuela, Turkey, now Argentina and Zimbabwe, as their monetary supply has started to death spiral, Bitcoin can step in and accelerate that, because now people will convert to Bitcoin, says Noble. If you look at the transactions in Turkey, Bitcoin have transactions skyrocketed. Venezuela, one of the only things you have access to is Bitcoin. So you start to see central banks' inability to affect monetary policy because of these cryptocurrencies. The valuation of Bitcoin depends on the extent to which people are willing to use it for transactions. The more transactions, the higher the value, says Noble. You need a buyer and seller essentially, and every time you have more buyers, the price of Bitcoin goes up. As Bitcoin gains traction, it will make it harder for governments to form monetary policy to affect consumer behavior, as well as appropriately collect taxes to fund government. Why? Because excluding third-party software that collects records of users, Bitcoin funds and transactions, Bitcoin users do not need to have a digital account, meaning there is no record of a transaction. The more places you have the opportunity to buy things, the less control the government has, says Noble. I agree. Who explains governments can tax when traditional currency is exchanged for Bitcoin, or vice versa, but are left powerless when Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies become the predominant form of currency between buyers and sellers? Nobody knows anything about the transaction except for me and the person I did the transaction with. When you get to a world where you say this isn't going away and it has value because people will accept it for payments, you quickly lose all monetary control. Bitcoin is also a decentralized currency, maintaining on servers across the world, making it impossible for governments to clamp down on it. China, which has banned Bitcoin, is the highest user of Bitcoin in the world. Go figure. The highest user of Bitcoin in the world. And they banned it. The adoption of cryptocurrency has signaled how monetary policy is failing to have some effect it once did. Japan, no matter what they do with their economy, they can't get their inflation in line. Part of that is because their economy is digital. You see, those connections and the keynote address is to bring these political, economic, and digital connections and say, what's going on? Why are we trying to run countries like it's 1858? You know what countries have figured this out? By necessity, Iran. By manifest destiny, Russia and China. Oh, what does that mean? Brandon, you used a big word there. What does manifest destiny mean? I want you to place yourselves outside of your own American shoes and into the shoes of somebody from a different country. And I know as Americans, it's very difficult to do. I admit I'm an arrogant American, but I'm not ignorant. I'm not an ignorant American. Most Americans have never left our country. Most Americans have never left their state. So with Canada to the north, Mexico to the south, and two oceans, and a huge continent, we have not experienced many other cultures outside of people moving here from other places. But when you travel around, and I have, and you meet people from other nations and other countries, and you see how they think, how they talk, how they live their lives. They're not much different from us, except they just have far more exposure. People travel in the United States from state to state like people in Europe do from country to country, changing languages every 2-3 hours they travel. But here's one thing that I know. Russia and China are millennium old. They have been around for a very, very, very long time. The United States has been around for 242 years. I was born literally the same month as our bicentennial, July 13th, 1976. Our bicentennial is July 4th, 1976. We have been dominant for the last 70 years since World War II. So in the eyes of Russia and China, we are still a baby. We are a blimp on the radar screen, and they want their place in the world again. Manifest destiny for Vladimir Putin is the Soviet Union, the rise of it. China believes that it's their time to come, their time to shine on the world stage. Been under the thumb of Japan and Europe, and they're ready to step up. And that old saying, you do not, or better yet, the Stone Age didn't end due to the lack of stones. It ended due to the introduction of better technology. We are now faced with better technology today. And what nations are taking the lead on it? It's not the United States. It's these other nations. But here's something even bigger I want you to think about. I'm going to leave you with this, because this is part of my mission. For the first time in human history, there is now the opportunity for the pursuit of wealth without any barriers. That is huge. And if you don't understand what I mean, let me break it down just a little bit more, layman's terms. All the industrial revolutions in the past, all the great times where people could generate wealth, even with the gold rush, there has always been a barrier of entry. And that barrier could be dependent on your race, your religion, your skin color, your country, where you were born, your family, your gender, what language you speak. All of that has been barriers, even to this day, where women working a 9-to-5 job still can't earn the same amount as a man working the same job. There's always been some form of barrier or glass ceiling, no matter how hard you work, because the hardest working people in the world are the brokest. It's about working smarter. But because of the blockchain now, because of cryptocurrency, not digital currency, cryptocurrency, all you need is a cell phone, access to the internet, and a willingness to learn, and you have access to wealth. And nobody can stop you. Nobody, no government, no bank can stop you from generating wealth in a very short period of time. The only thing that's going to stop you is your own lack of desire of learning about how to do this. Ignorance is bliss. This has never in the history of mankind been so until now. And you are living at the precipice of this right now. The tragedy of this is that most people won't even realize it's here until it's too late. And those of you that do realize it's here won't work for it to benefit you and your family. My goal, build a financial wall so high around my family that nothing can penetrate it, and crypto is going to make that happen. So with that, I'll leave you guys to think on that. I'll be back maybe tomorrow morning for early morning crypto talk. We got some work to do. Quiet before the storm. Next week it's on and popping. Wish you guys the best. God bless. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.